In ancient Egypt, the Hebrews were slaves, and Pharaoh feared their growing numbers. To control them, he ordered every Hebrew baby boy to be thrown into the Nile, a cruel, desperate decree. Amid this terror, a mother named Jochebed hid her newborn son for 3 months. When hiding was no longer possible, she crafted a waterproof basket, placed her baby inside, and set him afloat on the river. His sister Miriam watched from the reeds, guarding her brother from afar. Then the Pharaoh's daughter came to bathe and spotted the basket. Curious, she opened it and found the crying baby. Her heart was moved. She knew he was a Hebrew child, but she chose compassion over her father's command. The princess decided to save him. Miriam bravely approached and offered to find a Hebrew nurse. The princess agreed, and Miriam brought their mother, Jochebed, who was paid to care for her own son. The princess named the boy Moses, drawn out of the water. Against all odds, hope floated on the Nile that day. Moses' journey had just begun, rescued by kindness in the midst of cruelty. Sometimes the smallest acts of courage can change everything. Moses grew up in Pharaoh's palace, living as an Egyptian prince. He wore fine linen, ate royal food, and learned the secrets of Egypt, yet he never forgot he was a Hebrew. From his palace window, he saw his people suffering, forced to build monuments under the blazing sun. The injustice gnawed at him. He lived between two worlds, privilege and pain. As he matured, the divide grew sharper. Moses felt trapped, a prince in a gilded cage, unable to ignore the suffering outside. He longed to help, but didn't know how. The palace was beautiful, but it wasn't home. Deep down, Moses knew he was meant for something more. The seeds of change were growing within him. Soon, he would have to choose where he truly belonged. One day, Moses saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew slave. Overcome with anger, he intervened and killed the Egyptian. Realizing his crime was known, Moses fled Egypt to escape Pharaoh's wrath. He wandered into the desert of Midian, alone and afraid. At a well, he helped 7 sisters protect their flock from bullies. Their father Jethro welcomed Moses into his family. Moses married Zipporah, one of Jethro's daughters, and became a shepherd. The desert was quiet, a world away from Egypt's grandeur. Moses learned humility and patience, tending sheep under endless skies. He built a new life, far from the turmoil of his past, but destiny had not forgotten him. In the silence of the desert, Moses was being prepared for something extraordinary. After years as a shepherd, Moses led his flock near Mount Horeb. There he saw a bush blazing with fire, but it wasn't consumed. Curious, Moses approached, and a voice called from the flames, "Moses, take off your sandals, this is holy ground." It was the voice of God who revealed himself as the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God told Moses he had seen the suffering of the Hebrews in Egypt. He was sending Moses to free them. Moses was stunned. "Who am I to do this?" he asked. He doubted his ability, but God promised to be with him. Moses hesitated, worried he wasn't a good speaker. God reassured him, saying Aaron, his brother, would help. The burning bush was a turning point. Moses' ordinary life was over. He was chosen to confront Pharaoh and lead his people to freedom. The task was daunting, but Moses accepted the call. Sometimes destiny finds us in the most unexpected places. Moses' journey from shepherd to leader had begun. The world would never be the same. Moses returned to Egypt, joined by Aaron, to confront Pharaoh. They demanded, "Let my people go." But Pharaoh refused, making life even harder for the Hebrews. God unleashed 10 plagues on Egypt. Water turned to blood, frogs, gnats, flies, disease, boils, hail, locusts, darkness, and finally, the death of every Egyptian firstborn. Each time, Pharaoh's heart hardened until the final plague broke him. He ordered Moses and the Hebrews to leave Egypt at once. The Exodus began. Thousands of former slaves hurriedly packed and set out for freedom. Moses, once a fugitive, now led his people out of bondage. The journey was perilous, but hope burned brighter than fear. God's promise was being fulfilled. The Hebrews marched toward a new life, guided by faith and courage. Moses' leadership turned despair into deliverance. The story of the Exodus became a symbol of hope for generations. Freedom was hard won, but it was real. The Hebrews were no longer slaves, they were a people on the move, and Moses was their guide. Moses' family played a vital role in his journey. His wife Zipporah was strong and wise, standing by him through hardship and danger. She acted decisively to save Moses' life when God demanded obedience. Zipporah's courage and faith were a steady support. Her father Jethro was a respected priest and a source of wisdom. When Jethro visited Moses in the wilderness, he celebrated God's miracles and offered practical advice. He saw Moses overwhelmed by leading the people and suggested appointing trustworthy men to help judge disputes. Moses listened, becoming a better leader. Jethro's guidance brought order to chaos. Zipporah and Jethro reminded Moses of the importance of family and wise counsel. Their support helped Moses carry the weight of leadership. Behind every great leader, there's often a family who believes in them. Moses wasn't just a leader, he was a writer and lawgiver. He recorded the first 5 books of the Bible, known as the Torah. These books told the story of creation, the journey from Egypt, and the laws for a new nation. On Mount Sinai, Moses received the 10 Commandments, rules for living with justice and faith. He wrote down God's laws so the people would remember how to live in freedom. The laws became the foundation of their society. Moses' writings shaped faith and culture for generations. He gave the Hebrews not just freedom, but a future. Though he never entered the promised land, he led his people to its edge. Moses' courage, faith, and words changed the world. His story is a reminder that one person, guided by purpose, can make history. The legacy of Moses endures in every life touched by his story. His journey from the Nile to the mountain remains a beacon of hope.